Welcome. Today, we'll explore a surprising idea from ancient Greece, that women were often seen as the source of lies and trickery. This is Plato's feminine illusion, how ancient Greece viewed women as the root of deception and trickery. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Life in Ancient Athens. To understand Plato's thoughts about women, we need to look at daily life in 5th century BCE Athens. Athenian men gathered in the public spaces, markets, and meeting halls to talk about politics, art, and ideas. Women, on the other hand, mostly stayed at home in the gyneceum, the women's quarters. They wove cloth, cared for children, and managed the household. They did not go to the theater, vote, or speak in court. Because women were kept mostly out of public life, myths and stories filled in what people thought about them. Tales like Pandora, who opened a box and unleashed all the world's troubles, painted women as curious troublemakers. In plays and poems, women often appeared as cunning or deceptive, using trickery to get what they wanted. These stories shaped how people saw real women. And when Plato, one of the most famous philosophers, shared his ideas, he used many of the same images. He described women as linked to change, mystery, and deception. Chapter 2. Plato's world of ideas versus the physical world. Plato thought there were two worlds: the world of ideas. Forms. A perfect, unchanging world, only accessible by thinking deeply. Here live the true versions of justice, beauty, and truth. The physical world. The world we see and touch, which is always changing. Things are born, grow old, and die. Plato believed that the physical world was a weaker copy of the perfect world. He also linked the changing, imperfect world to women and to what he called metis, or clever trickery. In some of his writings, like the Phaedo, Plato calls the material world motherly, nurturing life but also hiding the true forms. This mother traps our minds with comfort and illusion, making it hard to see real truth. By comparing the material world to a deceitful mother, Plato suggested that women, like the physical world, distracted people from real knowledge. Chapter 3. Women in Plato's Ideal Society. In the Republic, Plato outlines his vision of a perfect city. On the surface, he surprises us. He says women could be educated and serve as guardians, the same role as men. But he adds a catch. Plato says women are generally weaker in body and less steady in mind. Though they can learn the same things as men, they must overcome these natural weaknesses. He compares women to lions among hares, brave and strong only when they fight against their nature. He also suggests strict rules for women in his city. The state would control whom they marry and even when they have children. Plato believed this would prevent deception and keep society stable. By giving women equal roles only under tight control, Plato shows his deeper worry. Women's natural traits, emotions, and changing bodies could harm the ideal city. Chapter 4. Plato's arguments for viewing women as deceptive. How did Plato explain his ideas logically? He used three main arguments. Change versus permanence. The world that changes is less real than the world of unchanging ideas. Plato linked change to women, making them symbols of everything unreliable. Reason versus emotion. In dialogues like the Phaedrus, Plato shows emotions as driven by the body, not by reason. He writes that people ruled by emotions are less wise. Since he saw women as more emotional, he thought they were less rational. Public versus private roles. Plato believed that men should handle public life, government, and ideas, while women should stay in private life, family, and housework. He argued mixing these roles would invite deception and chaos. These ideas combined to create a system where women were seen as close to lies and disorder, while men represented truth and stability. Chapter 5. Voices of Opposition in Ancient Greece. Plato was not the only thinker of his time, and some voices challenged his view of women. Aristophanes, the playwright. In his comedy Lysistrata, women unite and refuse to have sex to end a war. He shows women as clever and powerful, forcing men to negotiate peace. Diotima in the Symposium. Plato's own character, Diotima, teaches Socrates about love and beauty. Although she is a woman, scholars argue she might be Plato's invention, still controlled by him. Later schools, the Stoics, like Zeno, argued that reason is the same for everyone, regardless of gender. In practice, they still often excluded women, but their ideas opened space for arguing against gendered abilities. These examples show that Plato's views were not universally accepted. Even in his own time, people could imagine different roles and strengths for women. Chapter 6. The Long Shadow. From Ancient Times to Today. Plato's writings influenced thinkers for centuries. Medieval scholars. Thomas Aquinas mixed Plato's ideas with Christian teachings, portraying Eve as the reason for sin and seeing women as closer to nature's faults. Enlightenment thinkers. Jean-Jacques Rousseau praised women as natural roles but still talked about them as less rational. Mary Wollstonecraft fought back, writing A Vindication of the Rights of Woman in 1792, arguing women are just as capable of reason. Modern science and society. Even today, some studies suggest men and women think differently. Critics argue these ideas echo Plato's old stereotypes, saying science to back them up. Understanding Plato's bias helps us see how old ideas can influence new ones. By learning this history, we can question stereotypes we still hear today. Chapter 7. Conclusion and Call to Thought. We've seen how Plato, the champion of reason, linked women to deception and change. His powerful ideas built a foundation that shaped thousands of years of thought. But knowing this gives us power. We can question where our beliefs come from and challenge the idea that one gender is closer to truth than the other. Think about the stories and messages you hear today. Do they echo these ancient views? By recognizing the influence of thinkers like Plato, we can choose better. Invitation. Share your thoughts in the comments. How do you see these ideas reflected in modern life? Don't forget to like and subscribe for clear, thought-provoking explorations of history's big ideas.